Shut up and sit down.
That's awesome.
It's where the big boys play. SICW.
Good. Welcome to Square Root Podcast, everybody. Episode 56. Today is a kind of a different one. We have some major announcements that we are putting out. We had to wait. That's why it's kind of a special and at night and on a Wednesday.
Right. Yeah, normally we film on a Monday night, so we're a couple days behind, but we had to make sure that what we were going to announce was going to be signed, sealed, and of course we're going to deliver it. So
final preparations.
Right. I don't know. Should we start off with the big news?
Let's start off with the big news.
All right. So was it June 1st?
Yep.
SICW is going to team up basically with NASCAR. Now, what's the name of the place in Granite City?
It's Worldwide Technology Raceway. Busch Light is also sponsoring, and it is the racetrack scene here. It seats 30 to 40,000 people. We will be there, and it will have a special entertainment guest also in Ludacris.
All right. So basically,
and it is televised outside of us being there as well.
Right. So basically, it's being called Mayhem on
Melee.
Yeah. So basically, of course, it's Granite City, Illinois. It's their huge racetrack out there, and NASCAR shows up a few times a year. And the first time NASCAR is going to show up is, I think, June 1st? Is that the date?
Yep. June 1st.
So June 1st, it's going to be a very long day, but it's going to be a great day because there's racing, there's wrestling, and there's concerts. There's actually two concerts. So what's going to go on is the cars are going to do their qualifying, and once qualifying gets done, then SICW is going to go out there and wrestle a few matches, and then another smaller concert, but still it's a concert. Adam Rainwright, I might have butchered that last name, but ex-Cardinals player. He's got a country band, and that country band is going to play. And so you're going to get some, right out the gate, you're going to get some NASCAR ad, and you're going to get some wrestling, and then you're going to get some country music going.
There's Wainwright. Yep, that
there
Wainwright.
You go. But then it's going to recycle itself. So then you're going to get some more NASCAR and, the actual race itself. Then it's going to kick back to some SICW wrestling. I think it's broken down into 3 matches. So 3 matches in the morning, 3 matches in the evening. And then Ludacris is going to come on stage and just blow the doors off the place. So this is a very special event because, as Nate said, it's going to be televised. And normally this is on ESPN. So this is a great way for SICW to get in to that network. It's kind of like a throwback because AWA was originally on ESPN, and that's what kind of say relative past when Vince McMahon started buying up all the territories. AWA was a stronghold. Of course, it did fall, it did crumble, but ESPN is what kept them going because they had so many viewers watching the wrestling on ESPN. So it's kind of cool. Herb always talks about reliving the history, and of course, we're always talking about wrestling at the Chase. But this is like a little throwback to the AWA, American Wrestling Association. Get it on ESPN. So, you got 30 to 40,000 people that's going to be there at the event. But then you have the millions and millions watching, worldwide. So it's going to be very cool for SICW.
Given every time we just keep getting bigger and bigger. Same thing with us, the squared ring.
Right. We're getting a lot of views now and trying to get some more subscribers. So please definitely join us on that part there. I always thought, and me and Bobby talked about it. Well, all three of us talked about it last year about how big last year was. But it seems like as soon as we say that it can't get any better. Herb does it, and SICW does it, and all the wrestlers that wrestle for SICW, because it's definitely a group thing. It's not just one wrestler or the organization. It's all of us combined. It's opening these doors for everything.
That's like,
and speaking of, go ahead, Bob.
I did like that teaser video for the announcement, and like, it's true. Like, the wrestling business and locker rooms are full of fishing stories. My fish was 6 feet long, but it was really this big. But it's like, so you hear like, oh, well, this is something we're working on. It's like, yeah, right. It'll be cool if we do it, but yeah, right. And we just keep getting thing after thing, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger. Like, can't believe half of them, but that have already happened. Like, there's nowhere else in this area that I'd rather work for.
Yeah, hands down. And then
outside of WWE, there's no other territory that can put the wrestlers in front of millions of people on ESPN or 40,000 people on a NASCAR track. Now opening other doors, people know we were invited to do the pre-screen and press junket for A24's The Iron Claw. Now MGM and Amazon invited us to do a pre-screen for Roadhouse, provided they don't cancel it because of the lawsuit, which I don't think they will because it happens before it goes to trial. So
yeah, so I'm going to be a little biased here. Growing up, living with my father, it was me, my father, my brother, and my dad's house was basically a party house. My brother's generation, my cousin lived there, so all his generation, friends, we all lived basically in the same house. And every now and then, money wouldn't be sent to the cable bill. So you had to rely on VHS tapes. And one of our tapes that was probably played at least once a day for years was Roadhouse. And, it gets to the point where I can pretty much watch it and quote the movie as it's playing. And when you don't have cable and you don't have any type of we didn't even have the bunny ears or anything like that to make the TV work on, the regular 11:30 and 2, 4, and 5.
I don't know, though. I think we have to explain to Bobby what VHS is and what bunnies are, because he's way too young.
He's not that young.
I used to have Cheech and Chong and Blazing Saddles VHSs that I watched.
Nice.
And that describes Bobby to the T.
They were great movies growing up.
Oh my God.
I have all three of those movies on my phone.
I just showed my kids Blazing Saddles the other day.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Did they look to see if they could laugh?
Honestly.
My kids have a lot of my sense of humor, which isn't very appropriate.
Well, I was going to say, honestly, I have never seen the full Blazing Saddles.
I got it on DVD if you need to borrow it.
Nah, that's quite all right. I hear great things about it. But,
well, there was that talk about doing that remake with you as Mongo.
Oh, no, there ain't going to be me in that movie at all.
Come on, it makes fun of racism and how stupid it is.
To get back on track, Roadhouse was a staple in my life growing up, and to see a remake, I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to like it. Now, I do tell you that they put out a little clip of it already, and it seems like the backstory of Jake Gyllenhaal, was it Jake
Gyllenhaal. Gyllenhaal.
It looks like the backstory is not going to be the same as the Patrick Swayze backstory in that. So it's going to be a little different. What is it? Who's the UFC guy in it?
Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor.
Yeah, the clip of the movie that I seen had him in it too. So I don't know.
Yeah, and he was just going over. It made him look like a cartoon. So I hope that's just an aberration, and it doesn't look like that way the whole way. I don't know. I'm biased too. When
I probably only watched the original one like once or twice growing up. The only thing I truly remember is the boot knife.
Yep, the boot blade.
But I did tell myself already I'm gonna have to rewatch it before I go watch the remake.
Oh, you got to, because the whole thing was great.
I do remember the Funker in there.
Terry Funk. I was just gonna say that Terry Funk was great in that movie. I mean, the whole movie is great. You know, what if they call my mama a cocksucker? You know, is she? You know, the whole fucking movie is great.
I liked it. I mean, I'm not going in with high hopes, but you know, Amazon, MGM, we're gonna go anyway and give it our honest opinion. So
yeah, definitely. And you know, come to my mind, I can't remember a remake movie that did better than the original. So it's gonna be a little
sequel, Terminator 2 and Lethal Weapon 2, but a remake, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember. I mean, I know there's remakes out there, but I can't remember.
Hell, even Teenage Mutant Turtle remakes didn't do as good as the first ones.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, like, with the whole Batman stuff, they always throw it in a different universe. Imagine a different universe, and then this is how it would have happened. Or however they're doing all the comic movies nowadays.
I don't know.
Universe and all that stuff. You know, that's all in Bobby's thing. Bobby loves watching all those stuff. You know.
Yeah, but Bobby, even you gotta admit that enough with the comic superhero crap for a couple of years.
I would love all the Marvel movies if they would go back to sleep.
Really?
Well, Deadpool Wolverine was supposed to clear up the timeline, but
that was probably the only movie that I'm looking forward to seeing.
They try to fit so much woke stuff. Just make the damn comic book movie and be done.
Yep. So Ryan Reynolds, if you're watching this, because everybody knows that.
Oh, him and Hugh Jackman butted heads with Disney a lot, taking like scenes out of the movie.
Oh,
but no, like, if it fits, I'm okay with it. But don't force it.
Right.
No, I'm just saying Ryan needs to invite us to a pre-screen. I mean, we're getting MGM now. How come?
Well, you know, they haven't announced the date or anything for that to come out because they're still trying to film some pieces of it, you know, because they keep cutting more out of it. So who knows when that movie will actually come out or see the light of day.
Yeah, the last I heard, Ryan and Hugh didn't want to get back on set till they stopped cutting and put in the stuff that they wanted that were keys to the plot. They're cutting it because it's not woke or it's too violent. It's like, hello, it's a rated R movie. It's Deadpool.
Yeah, I don't know. Bobby, have you seen the movie Goonies?
Absolutely.
Okay. So it's kind of a remake, but Disney is actually doing a TV series, The Goonies. How can you touch The Goonies? That movie is a classic. If it was released today, people would still go there and watch it, and it would be a top movie of the year, you know?
But they can't do the truffle shuffle because it's not, you know, there's fat shaming on the truffle shuffle.
So the question for me would be, is it a remake TV series? Is it a continuation of the story? Because like they did the Mighty Ducks one, which I watched and was okay with. because it was like Gordon Bombay older and there's new kids in there, and it wasn't remaking the old. It had a whole different kind of story to it.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. I just read about it when I was reading about Roadhouse, because they're talking about there's three movies that are remakes or kind of remakes because Goonies is not a movie, but they were talking about how this is going to be the year of remakes. So it's going to be interesting. I don't see how they can remake the Goonies, even if it is a follow up. Because the boat sailed away, and everyone that was in that movie is now old or dead.
That's what
So
I'm
I
saying. Like
don't.
if it was like their kids kind of going back over the same adventure or a similar adventure, that I could be more okay with.
Hmm, Man, I don't see it. I mean, granted, I hated it. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and when they came out with Phantom Menace, part one and then two and then three, man, those sucked. That was
If it
it
would
was
have
just
been Phantom
horrible.
Menendez, it probably would have been better.
And then when Disney took it over, it looked like the first couple movies that they did looked like they just took the script from part 4, 5, and 6 and just remade them into a girl in the lead instead of Luke in the lead. Because
And
I
they
don't know.
tried to destroy all the history that had anything to do with males. They went woke, and it backfired on them.
Yeah, thank
It's still
God.
backfiring, but they need losses to cover all the profits they're making on their other
All right.
investments.
You said that a remake that was, as good as the original. I've been searching and there's been all kinds of movies I've never heard of. But this one I know was a great movie, Man on Fire with Denzel Washington.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a
Apparently that was
remake
a
of
remake
what?
of a 1987 film.
Well, that's because no one knows the original. The original one must not have been good.
I say most of these other movies that are in these kinds of lists. Oh, there we go. Homeward Bound. I watched that a lot when I was a kid.
Oh my God.
Oh
Bram
gosh.
Stoker's Dracula and The Fly.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't think Bram Stoker's Dracula was really good. I don't know what it was a remake of. I mean,
I say
that's an
I don't
urban.
know because like that goes back off of old books and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say
can
that's
you
like an
really
urban
remake
legend.
Dracula from Bela Lugosi during
Yeah,
the
but
black
I
and white
can't
era?
say that was a remake, though.
Yeah.
Now, there's been some more Dracula movies that you can find in like the B-rated shows. That I know one for fact. Pretty much took the same script and just redid it, and it was, I mean, 30 minutes in, I had to shut it off because it sucked so bad. But Bram Stoker's Dracula was really good. I like that one. But anyhow, so in 2 weeks we get to see this movie, and of course they might have a block like um, the Iron Claw did, where we couldn't immediately get on here and announce if it sucked or if it was good. We kind of beat it around the bush about it until we got the green light that the Iron Claw said, okay, now you can actually talk about it and tell us if you actually liked it. And we, did our reviews on that movie, and you could just click back, some of the past episodes because there was probably like 3 or 4 episodes that we talked about the Iron Claw leading up to us seeing it, and then beat it around the bush on that one that we actually had seen it, but we couldn't actually go into details about it. And then, of course, our buddy, uh, our, oh shit, I think I
James
just
Beard.
not my contact app.
James Beard. Yep.
Yeah, our buddy, referee, Hall of Famer, James Beard was able to come on, and we were able to review the movie with him. Which, thank you guys, I like to say, because that was one of our highest rated episodes. So all of us pretty much definitely appreciate you guys for tuning in on that.
And it's still getting views, which is awesome.
Right. And we were getting a lot more views than a lot of people that's been in the broadcasting world for quite a while, you know. So that was kind of nice because I was kind of looking through YouTube and seeing all the guys that, you know, that been on YouTube 5, 6, 7 years, and we were hanging with them. So I was pretty pleased with the viewers on that particular episode. But I like to think that all of our episodes are great. So I mean, this one right here that we're filming is going to be great as well. I mean, how many wrestling shows have we talked about that we're going to do with NASCAR? I mean, that's going to be a thrill right there.
Yeah, none right now. And, you know, we have Haku, his first seminar ever coming.
Yes, and to top this off, Haku, I mean, there's rumors that he's going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame this year. And even on Facebook, there's a couple of, you know, outline pictures of Haku. Well, you can tell it's Haku. Of course, the picture is blacked out. But the outline, you know, basically hands down, it's Haku.
You can't mistake his silhouette.
Right,
Nobody
you know,
looks
his
like him.
silhouette is pretty much on point.
Especially
So
if
I mean,
using the wild hair.
right. Now, it's not official yet, and they just announced that Japanese female wrestler yesterday that was going into the Hall of Fame. Her name escapes me, but I remember watching her going against Medusa in WWF at the time, I think it was. And then, of course, she went to WCW and wrestled out there. And then I heard that she became a professional golfer, too. So, you know, a lot of people were talking about how she was a 2-time sports person, you know, and that's kind of rare. And then the very first person that was inducted, well, that's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame is, of course, Paul E. Dangerously. So you can't go wrong with that. I mean, the WrestleMania is going to be in Philadelphia, and that's the home of ECW. So you kind of had to induct Paul E. You know, in there.
The one you were looking for was Bull Nakano.
Nakano, yeah, Bull. And you know, the funny, crazy thing is, too, if you look at pictures of her back when she wrestled, you know, I hate to say that she was a heavier set lady, but she was a kind of heavier set lady. And then amazingly, she like lost all that weight. And so now she's like, I mean, I haven't seen like a current picture of her today, but I know for a while there, she was making headlines because she lost all that weight and totally looked like a different person. So I mean, that's great too. But yeah, so if
Good for her
Haku goes
getting her
in
health
there,
back.
if Haku goes in there, you know, it's going to be a good class. You know, because Haku was in Japan for a long time too, wrestling. Of course, it was more of sumo wrestling in the beginning, and then of course he went over there when all the Americans went back to Japan to wrestle. Um, but that would be great. So yes, so he's coming to SICW because basically he adopted us, or we adopted him, depending on what you're looking like. Because he is like the best friend of SICW. Every big thing that we go to, whether it be Vegas or Iowa or the Fan Fest, Haku is there with us. And mainly, I guess it's because, you know, Harley Race was such a legend in St. Louis, and a lot of his students wrestled up and down the road with Haku. And so St. Louis is kind of Haku's home away from home, you know, because he's wrestled here so much and was with Harley Race so long that all the older students from the Harley camp, you know, are best friends with Haku. So in proxy, we are best friends with Haku. Me and Bobby broke bread with him. We had an awesome visit in Las Vegas with him, where we were able to, you know, hang out with him for 3 days and just talk shop and, you know, talk about the business, talk about things outside the business. And it was just really a great experience. So
You
he's
two
coming
broke
in.
bread, and I tried to break his toe.
Don't do
Well, that would have been your fault there, and I would have just walked
Yep.
away.
that. Nobody's saving you.
Yeah, right. No one's saving you. Next
What's
thing you
funny is
know,
everybody just was quiet and watched, and I turn and go, sorry.
it
You're
would
just
have
like,
been one of those things where
okay.
you would have broke his toe, he would have popped your eye out of socket, one of those things, and we would have just watched.
It's over now.
Yeah, so yes, he's coming in. Like I said, he's like our adopted best friend. Never done a seminar in his 40 years of wrestling. This will be his first one, and he wants to kind of, get all the stuff right before he hits the road and hits the circuit and starts going to these other companies and trying to do these seminars. So,
April
he's
27th and 28th.
Yep. So he's partnering with the ACE Academy. A lot of our students have already signed up for this. I don't know if Bob, of course, will be there. He might not. But he's partnering with the ACE Academy to put on this seminar. And our students, we got really advanced students, graduates like Brandon Beretta, down to people that's only been there a couple of weeks. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works and see because I've been to and I've been at a lot of seminars, and sometimes, no offense, but sometimes the legends that come in to do the seminar is a little bit too old to actually get in the ring and actually show the students how to do the moves and to take the bumps. Haku has already said, I'm going to get in the ring with these students. We're going to have one-on-one time so I can, break down the moves, make sure they understand the moves, and make sure they can do the moves. So this is going to be a great experience. And it's going to be 2 days like you announced, which most seminars are just 1 day. So this is going to be 2 days. Lunch is going to be included. There's this great place. It's a barbecue place pretty close to town.
Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Layla's Roadhouse.
Yeah, Layla's Roadhouse. They're going to cater it. Of course, that Saturday night, because it's a Saturday-Sunday thing, that Saturday night, Haku is going to go there and actually sign autographs and do a little meet and greet. So he's going to be working with everyone who signed up during the Saturday. We're going to get fed. He's going to go sign autographs later that night. And then Sunday is going to be part 2. And of course, at the end, if you survive, you're going to get a certificate or a plaque saying that you're the first students that passed Haku's seminar. And I tell you, having that on your resume as you're trying to get signed to other promotions for those young cats that are trying to, get into this business and go places, that's going to be great to have on your resume. I attended Haku's seminar. Plus, a lot of times, like I said, a lot of times these seminars are just 1 day, and it's either 75 to 150 bucks for just 1 day. This is going to be 150 bucks for both days, and you get fed.
And the other thing is you have to be at least experienced. You can't be a newbie coming in.
Yeah, because that just, just speaking from experience, being a trainer for ACE, it's cool that you get new students frequently, but it also drags down the students that were already there. Because you got to take a block out of that time and get these new guys in and start training them on how to take the bumps. So that takes away from the students that are also paying, but are a little bit more advanced, and they're losing their time. So this is great that he's kind of making it kind of a cutoff. So that way you can get in there and start training. He doesn't have to stop and make sure you know how to protect yourself when you fall backwards, or the front flip bump or the face bump or stuff like that. He can already step into the ring, tie up with you, and go to town. So that's going to be awesome.
Yep. Off subject, but when you have your wrestling pal, it looks like Bruiser Brody is eating his hand in your background there. It's just funny. It keeps
That's
pulling
cool.
my eyes back there. It's perfect right up there in his mouth.
Hey, I got something that came in the mail. Two things. I know it's a side note, but it's freaking awesome. Speaking of Harley Race, and Bobby, I don't know if you got this guy yet, because you talked about the micro brawlers the other
That's
day.
awesome.
I got the Greg Valentine of that, but I don't have that one.
Well, so I got this guy off of eBay. He actually came today. I mean, I kind of love the eBay. This was $4.99. So
It's pretty
I
good.
couldn't
That's
beat
awesome.
that for a Harley Race. But this right here, this envelope here, this is like awesome to me. This is the St. Louis Wrestling Club. This is a stock certificate from back in the day. So if you would have bought into the St. Louis Wrestling Club, they would have gave you one of these, and it is signed by Sam Mushnick and Larry Matisek. So I got that. You know, of course, the St. Louis Wrestling Club is non-existent no more. It's not worth. It's only worth what the wrestler wants it to be worth. And to me, Sam Mushnick and Larry Matisek's autograph on a stock note is freaking priceless.
Well, that's history. I mean, that's
yes.
history right there.
So I got this a couple days ago. I have yet to get an awesome frame for it, but once I get an awesome frame, that thing will be hanging on the wall.
Right next to old Frank. All right, we need to talk about what's coming up here on the 6th. The main event is our own Bobby D against the International Bounty Hunter.
No. Before we talk about this event, let's talk about how this guy tore me open last Saturday night. He what I thought was going to be a friend who I was tagging with, and that sucker, along with Peyton Ayers, it was supposed to be a good tag team match. And just to slip up, Attila had Bull Bronson done a move to him, so he was kind of stuck in the corner. And then I took over. Me and Attila was going at it. I went to hit Attila. Attila ducked. My fist connected with Bull. Pure accident.
Here you're getting forked. He's forking you.
Bull just kind of snapped and joined forces right there on the spot with Attila and Peyton, and just helped them desecrate me. As you can tell, just from that scene there, he was taking a fork to me and cut me open. You know, thank God Gary was, Gary didn't even have a match. He was just there watching. And, he came out through the crowd and said, "Enough's enough."
Yeah, but that vampire blood, he's always ready. He sensed that blood and he was there.
Well, I'll tell you, Bobby,
yep, he was thirsty.
Of course, he had a match earlier, so he was getting changed. But this tells you right here and there that Bobby and Gary are the two ones that truly have my back, and I should have never brought Bull Bronson in. So like I'm saying, I'm here, I'm busted open. You can see the blood coming down my face. We actually I ruined that mat with how much blood came out of me.
Yeah, it's pretty well soaked in there.
Yeah, and
all the way down to the wood.
Right.
Yeah.
Trust me, the owner of the wrestling ring let me know how bad that thing was. But again, thank God Gary was there, because he was able to stop this, and because it went on for quite a while.
But there's some fans got your back.
Yeah, but look at the size of the fan and look at the size of Bull Bronson.
Bull ate that fan.
So I'm not going to forget about Bull. But Bobby is taking on my greatest foe. And him and Bobby's had some whirlwind matches as well. But
We were actually only tangled once, and it didn't end. I think it ended up in like no contest.
yeah, but I remember there's some tag matches that me and you did with him in it, or him interrupting. So we've definitely had a long
Yeah, I was
journey.
going more like one-on-one. I've only gone against him one-on-one once.
Yeah, so Bobby is going to take care of my what I couldn't get done last Saturday. He is going to get it done next month. What's that date? Was it April 6th?
April 6th.
Yeah, so main event
Yeah,
that night is going to
you
be
could see
Bobby
the
D.
blood just.
Yeah. But yeah, main event that night is going to be Bobby D versus Attila Khan. All I'm going to say is, I had the ref check him before the match for a fork, and he didn't have one. I made him pull down the sleeves and everything, but I imagine Stephen E was there at ringside, so I
Well,
imagine Stephen E had it.
I can say I have some pretty good footage of his sleight of hand, so that'll be put out there too.
Yeah.
Dealing with the A-Team and Dogtown Underground, like I already know my head's got to be on a swivel with freaking Stephen E. roaming around there.
Now, I'm taking on Peyton Ayers that night. He was the other guy in that tag match. And me and Peyton's gone a few rounds already, but due to Attila and Peyton and Bull Bronson taking advantage, Peyton was actually able to get the pin on me. And that is the only reason why I'm going against Peyton Ayers one more time. So I'm going to take on Attila's little assistant. You're going to take on the big dog. And hopefully we get some wins that night.
We'll have to put him
However,
down.
I'm going to throw this out there. So your head can be on a swivel. My head can be on a swivel. Because I'm pretty sure Bull Bronson, he's not lined up for a match yet. Then again, I don't have the benefit of knowing the whole card. So as I know right now, he's not on the card. But again, it doesn't mean he won't show up.
Yeah.
So then
Well, he's part of Devastation now.
I'm throwing him in there. It's not official or anything. But in my eyes, he's right up there with everyone. And they already have another little partner, the Uber Destroyer, I think is his name. And he comes out and wrestles people and uses an iron claw as his finish. I've had a couple run-ins with him already. And the last time, I tell you what, I clocked that guy so hard with my lariat that I actually think I bruised my bicep because I must have took his whole freaking chin into my bicep. But
Well, you
yeah,
should have
I
sent him
haven't
back
heard
to
him
Germany.
talk since.
well, I'm just saying that they keep adding people into this into his little group with Stephen E. Devastation Inc. So
You
who
have
Well, I
knows?
hope
you,
Bull's
you
not
have
in Germany.
Bobby, you have Gary, you have Danny Boy now, and where Danny Boy is, Ron Powers has got to come back.
Well,
And
Danny's also still not trying to get into wrestling. He just wants things to be called fairly.
right. They talk about getting the band back together. And that would be Gary and Ron and Danny. But Gary's in shape. Danny Boy, he's talking about since he's been reffing and having to get his hands in the mix, that he's kind of gung ho about changing everything in SICW and making sure he can get Stephen E and his group out. So he's trying to get a little bit in being fit. I don't know about Ron though. Ron's been out of the game 11 years, so I don't know.
And
You
he's
get
very
bit by
vocal
that
about
spider.
not getting back in it as well.
Right? Yeah. So who knows what's going to happen? I can only take care of my what I got lined up in front of me, and mine is Peyton Ayers. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll be watching Bobby's back as well. Making sure it tries to stay fair as possible. You just never know nowadays. But
And speaking about, Bobby mentioned something about the A team. That's the next match. Plus, we kind of got part of the A team's, vote for Nasty board. What do you think
I'm not
about
voting
that,
for
A
him.
team?
I
You
don't
want
think
it?
you can still vote for him as Rookie of the Year when he's in his second year.
He's always going to be a rookie. No matter how many years, he's always a rookie. But if
He
you
wants that
guys
award
want
that
that
doesn't
back,
exist.
you're going to have to come get it.
He definitely wants that award that doesn't exist.
back in the day when he got hurt and people were sending in get well cards, I got half the mind to say that he probably sent in his own get well cards so he can read them, and talk about, oh, you're my favorite new rookie, get well. I'm sure that was him in his little office writing, what can I write that sounds like a fan would talk about me?
He sent himself
Oh,
flowers.
come on. He probably had his personal assistant or his personal camera guy write some of those.
Yep, I wouldn't doubt it. But oh, look at you! We got Bobby's match going around in the background. There we go.
Yeah, with going against old Mr. Nasty there. Rookie of the Year. Perennial.
Ooh, little mishap.
Jumping Jack Flash right there.
Grimace.
Yeah.
I say I pinned him facing Sean Vincent for a reason. That way I can keep an eye on him.
I still don't know why Nasty doesn't call himself the Redback Spider, because he has that, he has that color in there.
Well, myself included here, I don't think many people know what a redback spider is.
It's the Australian
I'm gonna
version of
assume
the
a
Black
spider.
Widow. It's the Australian version of the Black Widow.
When I see Glenn
Australia
Williams,
has all the animals that can kill you. Crazy bastards.
when I see
Sneaky
Glenn
too.
Williams, it reminds me of like a Japanese sumo wrestler where they're just wearing that thing that wraps around their private area.
He needs a belt to go with it now that you say that.
Oh, I'm just wondering when he's going to get a loaded boot like his mentor.
Oh, God help us. That's all we need.
And I was talking to the Silverback, and he was telling me how loaded that boot is when he got hit. Almost broke his nose.
I felt it myself. It feels like a baseball bat.
There's Bobby off the ropes coming with a nice shot to the back. He can't miss it.
That's Curtis Wild with you, right?
Yeah.
Did you pick him up by his beard? It looked like you grabbed him by his beard and lifted him up.
There's a good chance. These two have a way of getting under my skin like nobody else can.
Oh, I believe it. Every time one of them grabs a mic, I just want to grab it from him and beat him with it.
He was begging, please. And there's Glenn Williams begging. Move. Playing possum.
Yeah, I know I explained it to you guys before we hit record, but I'm suffering of a head cold, so I'm a little bit off tonight. But so if you hear me sneezing or coughing or something like that, there you go, Mr. Curtis Wild going crazy.
That wasn't the end of the match, though.
Oh, that's
that
one
was a
thing
two.
he's
That
good
was a
for.
two
He
count,
can get
wasn't
the
it?
fans behind him.
No, that was a 3 count.
Was that the 3 count?
Yep. Quick 3 count. This is a 2 out of 3 falls match.
Oh, that's right. It's the Australian match.
Yep. Got the quick 2
I
out of 3. Our first one there with the roll up. One more to go.
The hero shot right there.
Is he rubbing his nipples?
Well, you did slap him pretty hard.
Yeah, he did an interview that he's posted since right after the match, and his chest matches his diaper there.
His diaper, that's awesome.
It's his own personal depends.
Yeah, so April the 6th, back at Belclair Fairgrounds. It's a Saturday night. Doors open at 6. The show starts at 7. They're already selling tickets for it. So definitely, contact Herb Simmons or, come to the door. There's a phone number on SICW.org. You can call and reserve tickets. And you can reserve the front row or reserve, where you want to sit.
You get enough people, you can reserve a table.
Yeah. Well, I think the tables are a different price.
Yep.
But you definitely get a good view.
And you can reserve a table next to us as we record. Don't know why you'd want to.
Well,
Because
I
then
took
it's easier to
Attila
say
to
something to
that
the camera.
table.
Yep.
I took Attila to that table that was kind of close to you, and I that whole table was full of beer, so I was like,
Yep.
grab them.
I can tell you that does
Here it
not feel
comes.
good at all either.
No, you got the loaded boot on that one.
Well, he didn't really load it up, but like just a straight boot to the face don't feel good.
What?
Yeah.
Not one of my favorite things.
After you took Attila to the table, they came and talked to me during at the end of it.
Did they?
They were not expecting it. They didn't mind losing all their beer, but they just weren't expecting. They were shocked.
Well, that's why it's cool to get a table close to you, because then you can talk to the cameras.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, so the show's that Saturday, and then of course that Sunday, April the 7th. You can take your ticket stub to East Carondelet and get into the TV tapings. We tape 4 shows that evening. Starts at noon, so I would recommend getting there about 11:30. That way when they open the doors, you can get in and have your seat, by noon. So when they hit record, a lot of people just show up because they love to be on TV. Because we're on was it True TV?
True TV,
Premium.
Roku, but Roku is still kind of a problem at the moment.
Yeah, there's 2 other platforms besides True TV that we're on. Besides the Facebook/YouTube. 4
And that
TV
should
tapings.
have been a DQ right there.
Oh, because you went over?
Yep, threw me right over the rope. Glenn had the ref distracted there.
Mm. Yeah, a lot of people don't remember those rules. We play by the old wrestling at the chase rules. So if you intentionally throw your opponent over the top rope, that's a disqualification. Now,
I'm going to try and use that for the Bruiser Brody Cup.
Well, it's a totally different match.
It doesn't count for those matches.
Right.
Yeah, but if you go back to Jimmy Hart days, all that stuff didn't matter. He still protested.
Well, you can protest all you want. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen.
You're just going to have to throw me under the bars there, or the ropes there, Bobby.
Yeah. Now, the only way to I guess, sidestep that rule is if your opponent is kind of making his way over the top rope by himself, like his whole momentum is carrying him over the top rope, that's his fault. But if you intentionally grab your opponent and throw him over the top, that's where the DQ happens.
Like if they're leaning on the ropes and you give them a clothesline, that's momentum.
Yep. Well, both you guys do that move a lot.
Well,
but we're still
unfortunately,
inside
most
the
of
rules.
my guys are big and won't go over the rope backwards.
And here is the standing suplex.
I had to get like all my energy together on this one.
Great thing about that move is Bobby lets all that blood rush to the head.
Yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. It's that head rush.
Yep.
When those veins are popping. You're not faking
like it
that.
took a little bit out of you too, though, Bobby.
Oh yeah, like knew I had to do some kind of throw there to kind of get him off me so I could get to my tag, but it definitely took everything I had. As you can see, I'm still kind of just laying out over there just trying to recover.
Well, no, oh, Canada going on there, yeah?
Looks like they
All right,
got
everybody, if you
kind of
want to see
loaded
the
boot there.
rest, you're going to have to subscribe to our YouTube page and our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon.
There's a loaded boot there, and what I will tell you is Curtis Weil, which we did not know was the rules, had to start the last fall or start for the last fall. We were not allowed to switch out.
That makes sense.
So ending right there, it is tied 1-1 on the falls, and Curtis Wild and Sean Vincent had to restart the match.
And if you want to see the rest, you're going to have to subscribe, and it'll be in there. It'll be mixed. It'll be static with close-ups and the action cam that you guys just watched. And to a quick recap, because both the guys, Bobby's got wrestling in the morning for a tournament, so he's got to get on the road, and Jim's got to get some sleep because he's sick.
Not just state tournament, it's finally the big one. It's going to state. Yep.
Where his son's going to kick ass once again.
And they've been writing articles on this, and they said he's got easily the hardest bracket where you can make a case for 7 different kids winning it. It's got the most state placers and state winners out of any other bracket.
Ooh.
His first match is a kid that won state last year.
Wow.
So it'd be a good one for him to win.
Yeah, definitely tell him that tell him that he definitely got 2 supporters here, so we hope he kicks some butt. And maybe next week, when he comes home with the state championship this week, next week we can throw him on the pod for a few minutes, let him brag.
And show it off.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Okay, some recap in here before we go. We have the Fan Fest too. We're going to be posting a list of everybody who's going to be there to this date on our Instagram page because I didn't have enough time to pull it and bring it up.
Oh, not a problem. But there's the likes of Tito Santana, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Stan Hansen, Adol the Butcher. You got Greg Gagne. You got his tag partner at the Killer Bees. You got
Sergeant Slaughter, Stan Hansen, Medusa.
Yeah.
Tommy
Wu, definitely. So Tito
Coco
Santana.
Beware.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of legends. And like he said, if you want to find the list, go to our Instagram. We'll have that posted there. But yeah, so far it's like right about 60 legends. But rumors have it that it's probably going to be close to 70 when it's all said and done.
And some really special ones that aren't going to be announced till we get a little closer.
And again, I say the whole fishing story thing. Like, you don't believe it, and then it freaking happens.
Well, last year is a prime example of we told you, and they were there. There was only one person that did not show up last year that we talked about, and that was Black Bart. But that's because he was fighting off cancer, which I will tell you he beat. He's in what's it called?
Remission.
Remission. So he was the only one that kind of canceled. Definitely had the best reason in the world too.
Good reasoning,
however,
but he should come this year now.
Yeah, you never know. We did, however, JBL was there last year, and everything that he sold, whether it been an autograph or a picture, went to Black Bart to help him pay his bills. So,
I don't think JBL's coming this year, is he?
For everybody that doesn't know, I say, and that's cool because for like everybody that doesn't know, we've talked about it with the CAC helps with stuff like that too. But none of these wrestlers have insurance or retirement after they're done.
Yes.
So something like that goes a long way for these guys.
Yeah, you figure Black Bart was in that era before, the WWF was so big and, a multi-billion-dollar company. So there was no, action figure lines that produced his to, because Bob Orton talks about it. At least we've had a conversation that, how.
Yeah, off the record conversations.
Well, I'm going to put it on the record. Bob talks about how he had an action figure come out this year. Well, he still gets paid for that. So they still get paid if their action figure sells. And that was the only security that they had when they retired from wrestling. So I know he had a couple different figures within the last couple of years. So he gets residue, or I think it's residual checks. And he says sometimes it's a pretty good chunk of money. Sometimes it's not. It all depends on when the action figure comes out and if they sell a lot. But that was the only retirement they had, and sometimes it's years before they get another action figure. So they can go years without having any kind of money. So this is
and all those eBay ones we like to buy, they don't get residuals for those.
Yeah, they don't get they don't get any money for those. So definitely come to this fan fest. I hate to say it, but sometimes it could be the last time that you get to see some people.
So I was talking about that with first time we went to Cal Rally Club. We got to meet Jerry Jarrett, and then sadly he passed like 6 months later.
Yeah, and we had Virgil, who just passed away a couple weeks ago, or last week. And then the week before, we had another guy pass away. And we talked about the other ones that passed away, last year. So definitely, if you're a wrestling fan, hit these fan fests out. James Beard talks about how sometimes it's the best thing for the wrestler because they get to go out and see their fans. And for the legends, sometimes they don't do this every year. So when they do get a sponsor to bring them out to these things, it's like the highlight of their year.
So I was going to say, like, on that note, I don't know how much of this I should share, but we all know, like, Brian Knob's health is not great. Like, we've seen him walking around with his walker and everything. I was in a bathroom stall and, like, heard him talking to another fan or someone he knew in there, like, how much fun he had at FanFest too, and he wishes his flight wasn't leaving already because he wanted to watch the show and the ceremony, and, like, that was, like, it seemed like a big highlight to him.
Yeah. And that's another thing to add. Stick around for the show because the Fan Fest is happening Saturday during the day. We have a wrestling show Saturday night, and I tell you, a lot of the legends
stay.
Stuck around. They were in the audience. They weren't, and some were hanging out in the lobby or in the hallways, but a lot of the legends were still in the room, mixed with the audience, watching the show. And I tell you, and Bobby will tell you too, that's the best time, to have an interaction with a legend. When they're just chilled, relaxed, drinking a beer, watching some wrestling. That's the best time to socialize with them.
Watching me retain my cup.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying hang all over them and demand shit, but buy them a beer and they'll open up and talk to you. And then you'll have that special moment with someone you idolized.
The quickest way to get kicked out is to start demanding stuff.
Well, I tell you, I've hung out and talked and met almost everyone that I idolized in wrestling. And I don't know, Bobby, if you've seen the news, I don't want to broadcast it, but there's a special person coming in at the Mac show. Of course, the Mac show is not opened to the public, but they love to bring in high-end legends. And this year is going to be no different. It's probably like the highest legend that you can bring in and bring it in. So It's crazy that all the people we get to meet, but you get to meet them right along with us, especially if you go to these fan fests.
So I have not seen. I know who was rumored last year.
Well, it was the rumor last year. It looks like they're going for it this year.
Nice.
So
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say. That's really exciting.
I always butcher this guy's name, but if you can remind me, and who is doing the one-man act on Friday night before that fan fest?
Bill Apner.
Bill Apner. I don't know why I can't get his name to stick in, but
Because he's not a wrestler.
And that could be, but he's been in the business forever. But he did this crazy little commercial, and I think we put it in our podcast last week, where he had a John Cena mask on, and he was talking about, "Oh, you can't see me," and it was just funny. And that's kind of what his one man show is going to be. He already talked about it's going to be about trivia, it's going to be stories, and he might have a surprise guest or two. So it's going to be great. So Friday, Saturday, I would tell you guys, buy your tickets now, SICW.org. I would tell you to try to stay at the hotel, but I know most of the hotel rooms are going to be already sold. So, do your best, but it's definitely going to be a weekend to remember.
Yep.
But yeah, so
another weekend to remember, June 1st.
Yeah. So just a quick rundown. We got next month on the 6th, we got the main event, Bobby D versus Attila Khan. Doors open at 6. Show starts at 7. Bring your ticket stubs to East Carondelet that Sunday. You'll get into the free TV tapings. There's 4 TV tapings that happens always the day after the show. Then we got June 1st. We're teaming up with NASCAR. We're teaming up with Ludacris. We're teaming up with Adam Wainwright. So it's going to be a crazy day. If you like racing, you like wrestling, you like rap and a little bit of country, it's going to be all great for you. And then we got the Haku seminar. Sign up for that if you ever wanted to. If you're in training, let me rephrase that. If you're in training and you're past the basics, sign up for this seminar. I tell you, you're going to have one-on-one time with Haku in the ring. And like I said, it's very rare that legends get in the ring for this training. And he is saying he wants it, one-on-one time with every one of them. So it's going to be great.
And as far as the Squared Ring podcast, the week of the 18th of this month in March, it aside from our normal dropping of Legends matches and local matches, we will be doing a Roadhouse episode if MGN and Amazon allows us to say what we think before it goes out. So that week we're going to have
around it. We like to give a little details, but we might not be able to say for a fact this is what happens and you're going to love it or you're going to hate it, but we'll probably drop some hints on that.
Yeah, we're not going to tell you who dies in the end.
Well, if they carry on with Roadhouse, we know who dies. Bobby don't, because he might not remember the first one.
That's what I was going to say. Is it the dog?
Yeah, the dog.
That's the MC universe with John Wick.
Bobby, go watch the movie. The original
I'm going to before we see the remake.
All right. Well, it's coming up, so you're going to have to watch it soon.
Come on. They had to have put Sam Elliott in. No, because he died in the first one.
Yeah,
sorry,
he died
Bobby.
in the first one.
Spoiler.
My kids and I have classic movie Friday nights. We'll throw that in the list.
There you go.
We watch some Police Academies and some others. So.
Oh, Police Academies are great.
Have
you watched Spaceballs with him yet?
Yep.
What's that?
Have you watched Spaceballs with him yet?
No, but I heard they're making a sequel to that too. John Candy and Rick Moranis are both coming back.
John Candy's dead.
Oh. Well, then maybe that was an old article. Might have been an old article then.
Not that they haven't done that to other people where they did that in Star Wars Princess Leia passed away before they could finish one movie, so they digitalized her into it. So who knows?
And it was all right.
Yeah,
But-
you
Yeah, it's supposed
couldn't
to
tell.
be The Snooze Awakens.
Oh my
That would be
gosh.
fun. If they did, that would be awesome. As long as Mel Brooks is the one that does it all.
Yeah, you know, that would be the remake to watch if Mel Brooks is the guy behind it. You know, because he's got to do his own movies. You know,
And it'd be his last since he's almost 100.
well, you know, I'll take it.
Yep.
But anyway, all right. So let's wrap her up. You know, please, guys, we love reading your comments. So please comment underneath these videos. Let us know what you like, dislikes, what you want to see, what you don't want to see. You know, if you don't like Nate's face and you love my face, you know, we'll just cut him out of it all and just put me on there. You know,
Maybe he'll put the
or
John Cena mask on.
you can't see. Anyway, please like, share, comment. You know, hop on our other, you know, stuff like the Instagram. You know, it's all under the Squared Ring Podcast. We're on Facebook too. A lot of the videos that we air, you know, you can see it on Facebook. You know, Nathan here, Nate Dog, he likes to, you know, do some of the classic matches too. You can check those out on our YouTube, but I also repost them on Facebook. So whatever
And
you prefer.
we have Kerry Von Erich coming up and Ken
Perfect.
Patera. So
There we go. That is a classic match that should be in anyone's digital library. So go ahead and watch that. But yeah, for Bobby, you know, have a good night. We'll see you next week. Hopefully, your son will bring home a state medal. That'd be awesome. Nate,
and then
thanks
I
for
will
coming
be the
in, man.
only loser in our whole group.
No, you're not the loser because you're the one that puts all this shit together. You're the main guy.
I have
The
no
brains
gold
behind
for
the operation.
wrestling up here.
Hey, you don't need it. You got the smarts behind the camera. So, you know, let me and Bobby abuse our bodies for the camera. You know, that'll work. But
Your brain's gonna last longer than our bodies.
there you go. But anyway, I am out because I need some head medicine and Bobby needs some sleep. So thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. But we'll see you next week for the Squared Ring Podcast. Have a good night, guys.
Good night,
Adios.
everybody. See you.